Checklist.io.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of You Deserve Fresh Lettuce. I am your co-host, Rachel.
And I'm Delia.
And today we're going to be talking about the 4 A's for a life-lasting marriage, to make your marriage last forever, according to a man in a restaurant. We actually saw this on TikTok.
We did, but I think it does have a lot of value, and it like literally, if you break it down, I think it has a lot of weight. A lot of weight.
It does. So let's get into the 4 A's. We actually have them right here. So I'm going to say them really quickly, and then we're going to break each one down. So the first one is appreciation, the second one is affection, and the third one is attentiveness, and the last one is acceptance. So appreciation, it seems like a no-brainer, but the gentleman made some interesting points.
Okay.
So basically, if your honey does something for you and you are super grateful, right? There's gratitude, which is something you feel, and then there's like appreciation, which is something that like you kind of express, I think.
Right.
And he kind of broke it down like that. And oftentimes, I know I'm guilty of this. I am very guilty of this. I will be filled in my heart with like, gosh, I'm so grateful. Every day I go out, I'll walk, I'm like, I'm so grateful for every little thing. My neighborhood, the sidewalks, look how pretty, everything. But when it comes to people, I might appreciate it so much, like, oh my gosh. But I don't always, it doesn't always make it out of me. I'm like, gosh, I'm so grateful that you did this. And it doesn't always make it out. So as wives,
right?
You know, your husband comes home from work every day. Maybe he comes home from work or whatever, every day on time. He doesn't go out with the boys, or he got you a little something, or
he booked a vacation, a three-day weekend, or you know, you guys are going to go somewhere, or you know, it could be anything. I mean, it could be as silly as this may sound. It could be as silly as like him, you know, taking out the trash and having that come out of him, to where it's like you don't have to have him, you know, or tell him to take out the trash, or maybe he washed the dishes or put the dishes away. Whatever it is, I think that, you know, when you understand that both you and your partner, you guys are like, teamwork makes the dream work, and you see that your partner is giving just as much effort as you are, I think that there's a level of appreciation that you need to have for each other, to say thank you. You know, I appreciate you taking out the trash. I appreciate you booking, you know, that reservation from a month ago, and I'm glad that I get a chance to now, you know, visit that restaurant. And I think that appreciation with anybody that you talk to, whether it's your significant other or just a friend, to say, you know what, I appreciate you for always being there for me, for allowing me to vent to you, or whatever it is that you're going through. I think appreciation goes a long way. So,
well, especially like what comes to mind right now in the short term is like, you received a call from someone yesterday that they received a new vehicle from their spouse, and and she was like, oh my god, like she was so excited. And the only thing I said to Delia was, I pray that her husband got to hear that, because they live for that shit,
for those moments.
And that, and the reason is like, I have gotten really great gifts, you've gotten really great gifts, and I've been like, oh my god, babe, thank you, blah, 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 blah. But I didn't pick up the phone and call people. And let me tell you, I might have mentioned it at lunch, like, oh, I got this, you know, new Murata watch for my husband. They're like, oh. But let me tell you, to be just like, allow yourself to just
be
happy and excited, instead of like, I don't want to be all freaking excited about it, because who knows what he's freaking been up to or whatever. And too often, we finally get the things we want out of them, and then we resent that it took so long, or they didn't do it in the way we wanted, and we kind of block some of that energy.
The blessings, you block the blessings that are supposed to come your way. And I think that everybody I love to hear people say, you know, I needed you that day and you were there, or thank you for getting me that, or I appreciate this. And I think we all want that that validation, that feeling of validation, where you know you're on the right track, you're doing something that you're supposed to be doing.
Like feeling supported.
And I think that appreciation is, I could see why he would say that the 4 A's, and appreciation is one of them. Absolutely, I agree. Now we're going to move on to the second one. We're going to give you a little breakdown. So the second one is what?
So the second one is affection. So I did hear another man say the other day, ladies, you already know that we're dogs, so treat us like a dog, meaning pet us, feed us, talk to us.
Wow.
Like, give us our roaming time. Like, he
snap.
broke it
Really?
down as like a dog, and I was like, oh my gosh. But and I've said this before. So I have a team of females, and I used to have a larger team of females, and we would work so many hours, and I would say to the ladies that were married, ladies, you've been working 10 hours today. Don't forget to pet the husband. Walk the dog. And they would be like, what? You know, and I'd say it's real simple. You can just go up and I would even give them ideas and everything, which is like way beyond my bounds of, you know, the leader. But at the end of the day, it goes such a long, we talked about the sandwiches and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So being able to go affection, those gentle touches.
Right.
You know, the hug.
But there are men that do not like to be like kissed or hugged. Like, I think it's more than just being affectionate. I think you have to know your partner.
Oh, yes.
And you have to know when and where, right? Yep. Like, there's always there's a time and place
language.
there's a time and place for everything. Literally. So I think if you know your partner and you know that he doesn't like, you know, certain things, like he doesn't like you rubbing his head, or he doesn't like you messing with his hair at the beginning of the day because he doesn't want flakes.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of know the person that you're with, and you know not to do that. Now, at the end of the night, you guys are unwinding, and maybe you guys are going to watch a movie, you know, and then you know what kind of love language he speaks and the type of affection that he speaks. And I think at that moment, it is important to be very loving and huggy and kissy, but some people don't like that. And some women are not affectionate anyway, so they lack that a little bit. And then there might be, you know, the man that is extremely affectionate, and then he doesn't feel like you love him because you're not giving him that extra hug or that extra kiss, or just maybe stopping him to say, wait, let me just give you a kiss. Thank you so much for everything that you do for us. And sometimes if you could just stop what you're doing to say, wait, thank you for what you do for us, and a little kiss goes a long way. I mean, it just depends on who you're dealing with, too.
It really does. You know, giving him a hug in the morning and just saying, you smell good. You know what I mean? Like, little compliments, little, just anything that's affectionate.
Because if you don't compliment your significant other, and that's a sign of affection, too, to say, wow, you look handsome, or love your hair that way, or those shoes look really sharp, or whatever it is. Now, you know, there might be, like we always say, there might be that toxica that says, I'm not going to give him a compliment because he's going to get a big ass head, and then he's going to go out in the world thinking that everybody wants him.
Yep.
But I think that it's important that if you have to understand, if you don't give your significant other the affection, the love, and telling him, you know, how he smells good and giving him a kiss and a hug, if you don't do it, somebody else will. Let me tell you, there's daddy snatch. What do you call them?
Daddy snatchers.
Daddy snatchers. Come and get your man.
Yep, they are everywhere.
They are. So the next A that we're going to discuss that we think is important, and we love this subject, is going to be attentiveness. Yep. Yeah, that is so true. What do you think?
I love the attentiveness one. That one, it's so here's the catch-22 with the attentiveness one, because it's similar to me. I don't know. I think you're similar too. It's like I love to do for my partner. So I am like, I'll be in the kitchen. I'll make the little sandwiches before. Or like I'll make his favorite salsa, whatever it is. Like chips and salsa, I will do the chips myself, you know, on the stove, and like salt them or whatever. And so I like the details.
Right.
And my love is like in the details when I'm like feeding them or whatever. Yep. And so with the attentiveness, I think that it could also become very routine. And it can't, if you're just naturally like, they could just be like, well, this is just what I get all the time.
This is what it is, yeah.
He might not, you might think, I do it, but he doesn't appreciate it.
Right.
You just got to switch it up. And I think that you got to maybe even just find just a different way to come at him. Right. For him to receive it as attentiveness.
Well, I think you have to kind of put yourself in a whole like scope of things, right? You have to put yourself in, I guess, I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but the point is that let's just say that you don't normally serve him a plate. Let's just say you don't normally go out of your way. I always say presentation's number one. So lead with your eyes first. And if that's not something that you normally do, well, you know, get on Pinterest and try to do something really pretty and be attentive towards your significant other to say, hey, I got some chips, guacamole, salsa, whatever. Put it in a really beautiful dish and present it to him to say, hey, I made this for you. Or whatever it is, maybe getting him a little gift when you're at the store. And then just showing that there's a little bit of a token of appreciation for him and you're being attentive to him or... You know, I know that nowadays to be subservient is kind of frowned upon because it's like, I'm woman, hear me roar.
Yeah.
And no, it's not even about that. I think that we teach men how to treat us, and so we have to be a little bit more attentive.
Yeah.
Believe me, it's a rhetorical thing. The man's going to say, you know what? I have an amazing wife. She always takes care of me. I'm going to take care of her. And it's like this beautiful feeling that, that you guys have this beautiful synergy versus like he can get it himself. Like, I'm not going to do that for him.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell him how handsome
clean
he is.
his own plate.
And I'm not going to put, he could do I'm not doing that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And so at that point, what's the point of having a partner if you guys are more like enemies?
Or competing.
Or
like keeping score. He only did one thing for me, so I'm only going to maybe do this one thing for him. It's like you're getting yourself into a whole trap doing that situation.
Of course.
And he might show up every day, and he might still buy you flowers, but he might be checked out too.
I think that sometimes we always expect someone to initiate it. Like, we're always like, well,
that's true.
It's kind of like, okay, this is kind of going on a tangent, but we'll come back to it. I always trip out when people say, well, she didn't, I saw her at the store, she didn't say hi to me. And it's like, well, did you say hi to her?
Yeah, maybe
no,
she didn't see you.
Him.
Yeah.
No. Okay, well, you guys didn't say hi to each other. Neither one of you, whether or not you saw each other, took the initiative to say hi. So sometimes in life, you have to be the initiator to say, you know what, that's okay. I'm not going to keep tabs. You don't do this for me. But you know what? I'm going to do 2 things that are positive for you. And hopefully we can get a ball rolling. And hopefully, you know what? He sees that I'm putting effort, and then he'll put effort back into me.
Yes.
And sometimes it's better that way rather than being at war with each other. Like, oh yeah, you did that to me? Well, check what I'm going to do out. Check out what I'm going to do, It's like, no, you have to keep that good energy, that good synergy going, that momentum, and you have that power to continue to have that good synergy. So that's my opinion when it comes to being attentive. There's so many things that you can do, and it takes just a little bit of effort for him to say, you know what, she's not the way she used to be. I see that effort. I see that change.
Yeah.
You know what, she loves on me. She loves me. It just takes a little bit of effort. Now, the 4th A is acceptance. So
he says the guy that you dated and it's the same guy, but he's not putting up all the same, performances, right, in order to kind of impress you and get you to marry him and stuff like that. But at the core, he's the same guy. So if you choose a guy that has a porn addiction problem, if you choose a guy that has a wandering eye, if you choose a guy that has a drinking problem,
right,
at the end of the day, you know basically the package that you're purchasing, and it's not about buying the package and then changing the package. It's about either accepting the package or finding a new package, plain and simple. And guys can change, women can change, and you can say, well, if he loves me, he'll stop drinking. That's literally not how that stuff works. And so you have to accept that. And he says that when a man feels completely accepted and not judged or constantly coached and constantly made to feel like he has to improve all the time, that it's like tiring, and it translates as not good enough. And if a man doesn't feel good enough with you, there's going to be a young, fresh little thing that's going to be wide-eyed looking at him like he's the greatest thing of all time.
Right.
And
because
that's going to stand out.
Why? Because it's a state of newness.
Yeah.
And so, and he's going to bring out all the stops for her.
Yeah.
Always. And you know what? It's, in my opinion, and this is not really the acceptance part, but I think that what happens is you get so used to the person that you're with. And maybe at the beginning he did, pull all the stops. And maybe he did take you out shopping, or maybe you did go to those fancy restaurants. Now, when you're doing life with someone, it's not that hot and sexy and fun. But when you have that hot, sexy, fun, side girlfriend, she's obviously going to make sure that she smells good, she looks good.
Yep.
And you might be just, having to clean the house, run a household, the kids, the this, the that. So you have to kind of step up to the plate and understand who you're with and say, you know what, my husband likes this. So I got to make sure that I kind of step up to the plate and I accept that he has... I don't know. The wondering eye thing for me, I'm not going to lie to you, that's a toughie.
It's a tough one.
Because I've been in the position where, anorexic, this, that, thinking, okay, maybe if I was thinner, maybe if I was more this, maybe if I was more that.
Yep.
If your significant other already has that, it's going to be really difficult for you to pull them out of that. It's almost going to be impossible. Now, the drinking part, if he gets violent, I think that then you have an issue there. I don't know that you necessarily want to accept the fact that he gets violent and he drinks.
Yeah, no.
And now you're going to accept that? Absolutely not. You know, there has to be a reset there to say, you know what? After the third beer, you lose it. So you could only have 2. If I'm going to accept this is what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to change, you know, the rules of engagement here.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I guess the acceptance part is to me, it's kind of like a little bit of a gray area.
It's a tough
because
one.
if it's something easy, then you're like, you know,
oh yeah,
he just likes Animal Planet, and that's what he likes to do, or he likes to go golfing with his buddies. That's okay.
Yeah.
You accept that. But if he's like, oh, I'm going to Cabo on this big golf tournament, and he's constantly going to Cabo, I don't know that I necessarily would accept that. You know, after like the 4th, 5th time, he's like, I'm out. So to me, it just depends. Everyone has their own unique set of circumstances.
Yeah, I completely agree. I just, you know, for me, I'm like, I've decided I'm not in the business of trying to change anybody at this point. You know what I mean? I'm at an age where I'm the way I am, and I'm sure that I can compromise, you know, certain things. But the red flags are the red flags for me. I've been in an alcoholic relationship, and so when I see someone that looks drunk at a party and they're hitting on me, it's a no-go.
Right.
And so I've spoken to lots of men too, and they've mentioned that about females. It's like, oh, I really liked her, but then she kind of lost it at this party. Right. And then they go, oh, and then instead of going,
they give it another shot,
but
right?
instead of keep going, and then hopefully she'll change. That's it's very naive. And so at the end of the day, the acceptance is a really great thing, but it's also a hard thing, because you meet someone and you're like, oh, he checks off all the boxes, but he really spends a lot of time watching porn. And some people don't care, and some people do. Some people say everybody watches porn, and maybe you don't, and you go, well, I don't like that he does it at all. You know, is there a compromise?
Some people think that watching porn is cheating, by the way.
Yeah.
No, like I knew someone personally that says, you know, he's been cheating on me. And I'm like, how did you catch him? She's like, you know, it's because I walked in on him. And I'm like, with who? She's like, he was watching porn. And I'm like, see, for me, I don't think it, I mean, I'm not going to put my business out there. I just don't think it's to the degree where you would say you walked in on him. Okay, he's watching porn. Big deal. It's not the end of the world. Now, if you walked in on him with your neighbor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
While they're watching porn.
Yeah, they're probably doing porn.
You know what? They're probably they're OnlyFans. They're on OnlyFans together.
Yeah. I don't know. We went on a like crazy tangent, but we always talk about everything. So it is what it is.
Steve Harvey, I know we mention him often because he's pretty great, right?
Yeah.
He gives really great advice, and he basically kind of touched on this topic, and he said, ladies, he goes, men want the woman that they married. Right. Just like you want the man you married. Right. And he goes, but men, here's the difference. Men are aesthetic. So he said, we look at the aesthetic. So if we're coming home, he said he had a situation with his wife where he was coming home, he was working 12-hour days, 13-hour days.
Probably like the ex-wife?
And no, it's the one he has now, which is beautiful.
Oh, wow.
So he was working so many days that he was coming home at night. So every time he was coming home, she was already hair in a bun, no makeup, in her comfy little, you know, boxer, whatever, her sweatpant, pajama, t-shirt situation. Not like a silky, cute lingerie or whatever, but, you know, just ready for bed. Sexy. And very comfortable. And he said, one night it's fine, 2 nights it's fine. He goes, but he had to be on the set for like 3 months. And so he was like every night coming home. So you can say, I could picture her saying, well, you're the one coming home, you know, at 12 o'clock at night. And of course I'm dressed like this, you know, I'm going to bed. And so he said he had to have a conversation with her saying, I need my wife. I need my wife. I need my wife back. And then she was like, I'm the same. This is me. He's like, no, you don't understand. Like, I'm out in the world like all the time, and I need to come home and I need to find my wife. I need to find the woman that I married.
Why?
And so he put it out on the table. I'm sure she was a little bit uncomfortable, but then she said, okay, I get it. What do we do? So he says, fine, have your pajamas at night, but in the morning we need to get up 2 hours earlier and let's have breakfast together, but let's be ready, because he has to get ready in the morning, and maybe she's still sleeping in. So it was like she had to get up, get ready, and like sit there and have coffee with him and like smell good and look good and, you know, play footsies with him or whatever it is as he went off about his day. And she did it. She switched it. And so at the end of the day, you might be saying, hello, we're talking Steve Harvey money here, and Steve Harvey life, but it's irrelevant. Every man feels that if they leave the house to go earn a living and provide, that they want to come home to someone that appreciates them, that will give them affection, that's attentive,
of course.
and you know, that looks a certain way. So the acceptance part is also on us,
right.
I think,
right,
to accept that those things are real to them.
Right.
Right.
No, and I always say, and you know, I always tell anyone, when I talk to people, I always tell them, you know, you can't be in sweatpants. And I know a lot of women have their own careers, and sometimes some men can get very jealous, right? Because you go to the office, you have to wear a skirt, you have to wear a suit, and all of a sudden it's like, well, what are you gonna go do? Like, well, I gotta go see clients. And some men can get jealous if you're really done up. But let's just say if you're running a household and it happens to be your day off and you're in sweats because today, you know, I'm going to be cleaning the house and I got a lot of things I got to take care of. But if you know your husband's going to get to the house around 6, 7 o'clock, do yourself a favor and make yourself look just as beautiful as you can possibly look. Smell good, take a shower, get sort of ready. Don't just say like, well, I have all these kids and I have a household to run. There's always time for yourself. Yes. Don't just let yourself go. And that goes with every decision that you make that's in front of you as far as food. Really think about that, because you know what? 1 pound leads to 10 pounds, to 20 pounds, to 30 pounds, to 40. Next thing you know, it's like, well, I had kids. No, that's not an excuse. You need to get up and you need to show up for yourself.
Because you need
to show up for yourself.
Because you're sitting here going, well, he needs to accept me as his wife and love me that way. That's not who he married. And I know we're kind of veering off, but it is part of the acceptance.
It is.
And it's accepting the truth about what we've done to maybe let ourselves go. My husband, he used to in the evenings and on the weekends, he would just wear kind of like gym clothes, but like the loud ones, like parachute pants with all the colors, and like Crocs, and like with socks, and
with socks.
I'm not even kidding, and like,
oh my gosh,
and like
what
just random like cut up sweatshirts, and it was kind of crazy, right? So
but did you like the crazy?
No, here's the thing, that's not
your
who
style.
he was when I was dating him, and that's not who he was when he left to go to work every day and be around other people.
Right.
So to me, I didn't understand, and I was always
why
fixed
you
up.
got the bad end of the stick.
Yeah, I was always fixed up. So one day,
Crocs
like
with the socks. I mean,
like 5 years in, I finally said to him, you know, because he goes, oh, you know, blah, 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 we're talking about whatever. And then I said, you know, the only thing is, like, I don't understand. I go, I feel kind of a little bit, some kind of way that everyone else gets to enjoy the best part of my husband.
He's dripping you.
Yeah, like, he did the bait and switch. Everyone else gets to enjoy the best part of my husband, but me.
Right.
And yet I'm always fixed up for him. I always smell good. My hair's always done, heels, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I cook this way. I used to vacuum this way. So to me, it's not even put on your rags or go clean. No, you can curl your hair in the morning and then put it in a bun, a loose bun, so that when he gets home, you pull it out and you have your hair done. Like, there's all these things. And so anyways, I'm not saying everybody needs to be like that. But as a woman, I wanted to see my husband.
Not everyone needs to be like that. No, that's true. No, I'm not saying everyone needs to be like that, Rachel. But for the ladies that are listening, show up for yourself.
Yes.
Because I don't care if you're just going to be running errands. Run errands like very cutesy. So if you do happen to, you know, if your husband happens to come home early, you're ready. You're not just like, you're caught off guard. Oh, well, he already knows what I look like without makeup. He already knows what I look like when I wake up, you know, stank ass breath, and you still haven't brushed your teeth. Like, no, show up for yourself. You have to.
Yeah.
So that's part of the acceptance, I suppose. It did go on a little bit of a tangent in a way, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, though.
It's true.
It is really true.
He is spot on. And, you know, whether or not that's the magic to make your marriage last forever, you know, I don't know.
Obviously, we didn't have the sparkles because it didn't last forever, and we were those women. And, I mean, nothing guarantees anything to anybody anyway. Yeah. But at least you know, hey, I was like in the Army. I did be all that you can be, right? Yeah. And like, I was in the Army. I tried. Hey, it didn't work. It's okay. It wasn't because I failed. It's because, you know what, just life shifted things, and that's what it is. So what do you do?
And especially when you see women that were tore back in their marriage, and then they go get their revenge divorce look.
Body,
and they get the body, and all of a sudden they're putting makeup on, and it's like, well, if you would have done that when you were married. So that's the part that's like crazy too, which is probably a whole other thing. But I think he was right. Again, appreciation, affection, attentiveness, acceptance. That's the magic, he says.
That's the magic. And we hope that with this episode, we could sprinkle a little magic, open your eyes, open your mind, open your spirit. And you know what? Be the best that you can be and be all that you can be. But don't go in the army or go in the army. I don't know. The point is that that's all we got. We loved his 4 A's. Yes. And, hopefully you guys get an A in the subject.
Yep. Talk about it.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
So
right.
you guys have a good one and cheers.
Cheers.